Welcome back, guys, to my accidental series on why blank hasn't worked out for you. This wasn't supposed to be a series. I don't know how this happened. I started writing the first one and I just thought it was so much fun. I should write one for each of the pillars. So here we are. And the cherry on top of the ice cream sundae is going to be why your house doesn't feel streamlined, even if you have tried to streamline it, you have been doing all the things, and it still doesn't seem to be giving you those 7 extra hours in your week. So in this video, my goal is to give you some ways you can troubleshoot that, some adjustments that you can make so you can get that extra time in your week. If you're new to my channel, hi, I'm Kassy, and I make videos about how to streamline your home so you can add at least 7 extra hours to your week. Now, if some extra time in your week sounds magical to you, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below and ring the bell next to it because I want to help you streamline your home as quickly as possible. All right, let's go ahead and get into this video and look at some of the reasons that maybe the streamlining hasn't worked out so far and see what you can do to make that happen. The first reason that your house may not feel quite transformed yet is you didn't make a plan when you started. You maybe started watching some of the videos and you just jumped in with both feet to whichever step we were talking about and didn't actually make a start to finish plan of where you were and where you wanted to go. Not having a specific plan can really make it difficult to end up at the destination that you would like to end up at. There are basically 2 ways that you can streamline your home. You can do the slow and steady method, which I recommend doing at least 15 minutes a day if you are doing that method, but you just stick with one task until you have that task complete. So you keep coming back to that task every day for 15 minutes until that task is done, and then you move on to the next task. The other way is what I call the express train method, and you are all in working on streamlining your home, and you have a very specific deadline, and you have very specific steps along the way with deadlines for each of those steps. That gets you to your destination much faster, but you do have to commit more time up front. The second reason that your home may not be streamlined yet is you never chose a start date. Like we've talked about in some of the other videos in this series, it's really important when you have a big task to not procrastinate starting it. You want to start it when you're still motivated, you're still excited, and starting it sooner than later will help you get to that destination faster. And I think we all would love to have that extra time in our week, and the sooner you start, the sooner you get that extra time. Reason number 3 that your home may not be completely streamlined yet is you didn't set a deadline for it to be done. Again, Parkinson's law says things will expand to fill up however much time we give it. So if you set a reasonable deadline and make yourself stick with all of the steps along the way, you will reach your destination much more quickly than if you have no deadline at all. Now, if you're thinking, I have no idea how much time streamlining my home should take me. If you are wanting this to happen very quickly, you can streamline your home in 16 weeks. And that is taking your home all the way from decluttering your home to creating and setting up your routines to creating a set it and forget it meal plan and setting up your budget. So I would say that is probably the quickest that you could get through it. I mean, it depends on what all you have going on, how many kids you have, how much stuff you have that you actually need to declutter in your house. Obviously, there are probably scenarios when you can do it faster, but you don't want to rush through any of the steps so fast that you don't complete them. You want to complete each step before you move on to the next one. So I think 16 weeks is a good amount of time that gives you enough motivation to keep moving through the steps. And it also gives you enough time that you're not going to feel rushed. It's a good amount of time for streamlining your home. But if you are going the slow and steady method, it's going to take you much longer. If you can only do 15 minutes a day, I get it. There are so many things going on every day for so many moms, and depending on how many people you have in your house and the ages of your kids and all of those things weigh into that. So it is absolutely better to do the slow and steady method than to not do anything, but it is going to just take you a little longer to get there because 15 minutes a day working on one small task at a time, it's just going to take you longer to get to the destination. And unfortunately, I can't really give you a timeline for that one just because I don't know how much stuff you have that you need to declutter, and that really would make a difference on the timeline. If you have a lot to declutter, it's going to take you a little while to get through it with the 15 minutes a day. So just keep that in mind. If you have a feeling that you need to really get it done quickly, you will want to set a deadline somewhere between 16 and 20 weeks. And if you don't necessarily have a strong deadline that you need to get to and you don't have much time to dedicate, go with that slow and steady method and just really map out your tasks, make a plan, and figure out how you are going to get from point A to point B, B to C, C to D, and how you're going to get there in a slow and steady way. Because you can absolutely still get there in that slow and steady way. You just need to have a plan, and you need to keep moving forward one small step at a time. The fourth reason that you may feel like I have tried to work on streamlining my home, but it doesn't feel transformed yet, is you didn't set up all 4 pillars. Now, in the previous 4 videos of this accidental series, we have covered each one of the pillars, and you have to have all 4 pillars to have a completely streamlined home. It will feel amazing just when you declutter it. But having a decluttered house alone is not necessarily going to have your home running smoothly all the time. You have to set up those rhythms to make that happen. And having a decluttered home and good rhythms is not going to make meal planning and cooking any easier. You have to create that set it and forget it meal plan and have your meal plan on autopilot for that to happen. And as wonderful as all 3 of those pieces are, if you don't have your budget in shape, you are never going to fully be able to relax and be a stress-free mom. So it's really important to have all 4 of those pillars in place as you're setting up your streamlined home. And the last reason that you may not be enjoying those 7 extra hours a week yet is maybe you tried setting up the pillars out of order. Now, technically, it doesn't matter which one you start with. But if you try to set up your cleaning routine before your house is decluttered, that cleaning routine is going to cause you nothing but stress because you're going to spend most of your time cleaning. And when you're cleaning, you're going to be picking up stuff. Now, when it comes to meal planning, if you try to set up your meal plan before you have your daily block schedule set up or your weekly rhythm in place, then your theme nights may be all over the place and they may be working against your schedule. So that is why it's so important to start with the decluttering, then do the routines, then do the set it and forget it meal plan, and then last do the budgeting. Technically, the budgeting is the one piece that could go anywhere. You could do the budgeting first. That's actually what we did. We set up our budget first. We got our debt paid off and our savings accounts built up before we put in any of the other pieces. But that was because we didn't have children at the time. We were both working outside the home and it made sense to just attack that debt right away. But if you have kids, I recommend starting with the clutter because it will give you the most peace back right away. And also because the budgeting piece can take the longest to finalize. The decluttering, the routines, and the meal plan are much more finite in how long they will take you. You can move through the steps much more quickly depending on how much time you want to put in them. The budgeting has certain constraints on it though, because you can only make so much money, right? There's only so much time in a day. You can only get so many extra jobs, and you can only decrease your expenses so much. So because of that, especially if you have debt to pay off, it can take the longest to finalize this pillar, which is why I leave that one for last. I get the ones done that you can really get done and check those off, cross them off, and then you work on this one for as long as you need to. If you start here, you might get burnt out before you ever get to the other 3 pillars. So take a look. Where were you starting? Was it with the decluttering? And then were you moving into the routines and then the meal plan and then the budget? And if not, you may want to try it in that order, and I think that would work much better for you. If you are ready to go all in and completely streamline your home once and for all, my brand new membership, Total Home Transformation, is now open for enrollment. I am so excited for it because it is going to get you guys to the finish line of having a completely streamlined home in record time. I am so excited for this first cohort to go through the program, and be sure if you would like to be a part of it to join before midnight on Sunday, May 17th. I will be closing enrollment at that time for at least 2 months. It may be 3 or 4 months, I'm not positive. I want to make sure this first cohort gets a lot of attention and I'm able to help them get through with the decluttering and possibly the routines and the meal planning before I open up enrollment again. And when it opens again, the price will be going up as well. So if you would like to snag the founding member price, be sure to go to the link in the description below and register to be part of this first cohort. If you decide to join, I look forward to meeting you in person on the coaching calls. And if not, no worries, I'll still be here on YouTube and we can chat here in the comments as well. And I hope you have found this little impromptu series to be very helpful, and I hope it's helped you troubleshoot through streamlining your home. If you have any questions, please leave those in the comments down below, and I will see you on the next video.